Hello, hey everyone, Minas here, and welcome in this third stream. And here I'm trying to practice a new problem with Rust, and this problem will be splitting a string into segments based on a specific separator. And to give you a sense of the problem more clearly, I'm using this diagramming tool. It's Whimsical. So let's say I have a string which is hello world of Rust, and this hello, let me just make it a bit bigger. Yeah, hello world of Rust, and this is one sentence. And let's say that the user that will be using my application wanna segment this sentence or this string based on the space. So he will like enter space, he or she enter space, and then my application will break the string into segments based on the space. Um, the solution I'm going to approach is using two indexes to track each word. So I have, let me just make it a bit smaller. I'll show you how this will work in a second. So I have two indexes, start index and end index. Okay, both of them will start from the beginning, and then I will start iterating on the string, and then my end index is moving forward until it like hits a space. Once it hits a space, my application will return whatever between the two indexes, the start and the end. And after returning that, I will sync the value of the start index to be equal to the end index plus 1. So it moves over the space to the next letter after it, which is in this case is W. And then I move my second, my end index, and so on and so forth. Until like I face like a cool challenge at the end. Both my start index is now on the R for the word Rust. Just move it a bit to the right. And then my end index is still counting, but it will never met a space at the end. So it will never take the pushing the last word or syncing the two indexes. And let's see this while practicing, and we will fix it together. So here in Rust, I'll just create a new project, cargo, new, I'll call it like uh, split string. Oh, I think I have this. Okay, I will just split, and then I'll cd split, and then I'll start from there. And as usual, I just run cargo new cargo run to make sure that everything works fine. Seems good. Okay. Now let's work on the solution. First, I need to ask the user to add his or her input. So I'll just ask the user to do that. Let me get this here. I need the standard input-output library, so use std.io, and then I'll print to the terminal, please define a separator. Yeah, I'll ask the user to define a separator to like segment the sentence based on. And here I need to like let separator of type, yeah, this should be mutable, of type string equals string no. And as I mentioned before, this is allocated in the heap. And now the user will input that. So input output standard in read from line buffer and put it into separator, the container, the variable that I define to contain the user input, and then expect for any error. Reading your input. And now I like quote the user input. I stored it in the separator, but like this is a string. I need a char. So I will shadow this separator. So let's say separator, the separator this time of type char will equal separator. I will convert the string into chars. I will take the first one, just one letter, one char, and then from this collection I will take the last and then unwrapped. And when I looked up one unwrapped, this means unwrapping whatever comes from the optional enum. So you know that option enum has two variants, one is some and one is none, and this like unwraps it from whatever and then return the value. Now it should have a separator. Let me print this and see. Separator is, and here separator. Let me run this. Okay, sorry. Okay, separator will be, I'll define separator as n. Okay, good. Let me run it one more time. I'll define this separator as comma. Okay, so we are good. And now I have the separator. What is missing is asking the user for an input. So I print line, please write your sentence. So now I'm asking the user for a sentence to break or segment, and then as we used to, user input, and this will be of type string as well, equals string new, and then and now I have like the user input. I don't need to write everything from the beginning. I'll just copy this one and modify the separator into user input, and that's it. So I now have the separator. I reduced or I picked the first char of the string that the user added as a separator, and now also I have the user input or the sentence that the user wanna modify. I'll go now with creating a function, and this function called split, and it will accept two arguments or parameters. First one will be user input, and this of type, I reference a string. I don't need to move the whole ownership of the string to this method. And then I need a separator, and this will be of type char. And this function won't return anything because I will just print. But feel free to increase the complexity of this practice to, once you know how I'm breaking the segments, you can push those segments into vector and then return this vector to the application one more time. So here I will define, and as per this chart, I have a start index and end index. The end index, we will use enumerate within the for each loop to satisfy this. For the start index, I will define it, and I need it to be mutable so I can update it. Start index, type view size, and I will start from 0. And then also I need to let text under processing. I love long names, by the way. This of type string reference equal user input dot trim, and I'm trimming whatever the user inputted because I need to remove the forward slash and the spaces from both sides. And now let's start the for each loop. I'll say for, and follow up with me, for end index, this one, which also will start from 0 and move forward with the for each loop, and index and letter or a bit of the sentence in text under processing. I'll convert it into chars, and then I will enumerate. And what enumerate does, like as usual with different or with other languages, it like keeps tracking an index with moving forward, and here it will start from 0. So just to test, Let me print end index and as well letter, just to test that it's working. And here end index and letter. Let's see. Let's run it. Okay, define separator. I'll define this time a space. I write like hello world. Oh, oh yeah, we didn't call the function. Split and yeah. Let's run it one more time. Space and hello world. Yeah, and as you can see, like tracking, the index is starting from 0 and moving forward, and then every letter is counted. So we are good. We remove this print statement and then we'll add an if condition. What we need to make sure of here is this if condition. If the letter from the for each loop matches or exactly the same as the separator that the user defined, I will print line word is, and the word here will be um, text reference. I will say return text under processing starting from start index, because it's now standing at 0, start index up until end index, and here end index is not included, it's excluded. So it will print whatever from the start till the end. If I run it that way, it will keep, because the start index is not we are not updating it. It will print everything from the first till the first space, then from the first till the second space, and so on. Let's give it a try. It will be fun. And space, and here hello world of Rust. And as you can see, like hello world and hello world and hello world of. What happened here, if we represent it on this diagram, my start is still at the edge and my end is moving. And when it's moving, when it hits the space, it returns from hello, hello till the end, and then it will move. I'm not updating the orange index or the start index, so next time it will be hello world, and then hello world of. And Rust didn't, hello world of Rust as a full sentence didn't appear because like we have another problem we will discuss in a bit. So what I can do to solve this, like while moving the end index, when I hit a space, I should move the start index to meet it over the space, but I don't need the space in the upcoming word, so I just increase one to like get over the separator or not include. So let's give it a try. Now I code the first word and I return it. So I can now update the start index, which moving this start index till where the space plus one, or till the separator plus one. Start index equal now end index plus one. And that's it, that's all I need to do, and this will print everything except the last word. Let's give it a try. Space, and here hello world of Rust. Yeah, hello world of, and Rust is missing. Why Rust is missing? Because the situation is like following. I have the start index here at the R after like the last space, and because it's last space, the end index will never meet another space in this sentence. It will stop at the T. So the if condition will never trigger, and the sync between the two indexes will never happen. To overcome this, I have the start index now in position. So after the for each loop, I'll just print and just copy this for consistency. And here I will return it from the start index, which is up to date with the separator, till the end of the string. And this should work. Let me see a space. Hello world of Rust. Yeah, hello world of Rust. Let me try it with maybe a comma separator. I'll define this time a comma, and then I'll say like hello world. I'll add comma of Rust, and this will just return hello world as a one segment because I'm segmenting on the comma, and then off is another segment, and Rust is the final one. And as you can see, like hello world of Rust. And as I mentioned, you can increase the complexity of this code by maybe return, instead of like printing those segments, you can push those segments into a vector. You can also add a layer of validation for the user input and so on. I think that's it for this practice. I hope it adds value to you. Thanks so much for the support and for the comments and for the messages. I really appreciate it. And as I mentioned in my previous streams, I'm learning Rust through practicing, and I'm scaling up every day, trying to uh, skill my skill up my skills. And you are welcome to send me your feedback, your messages, or anything. If you know for sure there are better solutions that I'm presenting, feel free to share those solutions with me. I love to learn from them. Uh, on my GitHub, I'm practicing like all the time on new Rust ideas and applications while learning. So feel free to follow me on GitHub and send me your feedback as well. You'll find the links in the description section, and also you'll find this repo, the repo of this practice in the description, but with vectors. I added vectors to the repo. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have a great day, and